awake, silent tears slipping onto your pillow, whispers of doubt echoing in your heart. You prayed, you waited, you hoped, but nothing seemed to change. You asked God, "Have you forgotten me?" You wondered if your prayers were lost in the silence, if your faith was in vain, if the waiting would ever end. It felt like the heavens were quiet, like your words had vanished into thin air. You wrestled with doubt, questioning if God was listening, if He cared, if He saw the depth of your pain and the weight of your burden. But listen, God was never absent, not for a second. He was moving in ways beyond your sight, aligning things you didn't even know you needed. Every moment of silence was filled with purpose. Every unanswered prayer was a seed planted in the soil of your destiny. Every tear you shed was watering the very blessing He was preparing for you. Nothing was wasted, not your pain, not your waiting, not even your silent cries in the darkness of the night. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. Isaiah 55, 8-9. What felt like silence was strategy. What seemed like delay was divine timing. What appeared to be a closed door was God's protection. Every tear you cried was watering something greater than you could see. Because the waiting was never about denial. It was about preparation. It was about refining you, strengthening you, stretching your faith so that when the breakthrough came, you would be ready. He wasn't just preparing the blessing for you. He was preparing you for the blessing. And let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up. Galatians 6:9. You couldn't see it, but God was working behind the scenes, closing doors that would have led to disappointment, blocking paths that would have delayed your destiny, protecting you from what you thought you wanted so He could give you what you truly needed. Every closed door was divine intervention. Every delay was God's mercy. Every disappointment was making room for something greater, something beyond your wildest imagination. Every hardship, every challenge, every season of loneliness, it was shaping you. Every struggle was developing you. Every setback was building resilience in you. The storm wasn't sent to destroy you, but to develop you. It wasn't meant to break you, but to build you. Because when you step into the promise, you need to be ready to sustain it, to carry it, to steward it well. God wasn't just preparing something for you. He was preparing you for something great. And very soon, the shift will come. Not just an answer, an overflow. Not just provision, abundance. Not just relief, restoration. Not just a door opening. Doors you never knocked on will swing wide. Opportunities you never expected will find you. The things you once called impossible, they will become your reality. Because when God moves, He doesn't just meet expectations. He shatters them. He exceeds them. He does the unimaginable, the unthinkable, the miraculous. Now to Him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to His power that is at work within us. Ephesians 3:20. Because when God moves, He doesn't just give you what you prayed for. He gives you more than enough, more than you dreamed, more than you even knew to ask for. He is a God of abundance, of overflow, of limitless power and infinite love. The same God who split the sea, who brought water from a rock, who raised the dead to life, that same God is moving in your story right now. Jesus looked at them and said, "With man this is impossible, but with God all things are possible." Matthew 19:26. And when His blessing comes, it won't just change your life, it will transform generations. Because God is not a God of barely enough. He is the God of more than enough. He is the God of multiplication, the God of restoration, the God of redemption, the God who turns ashes into beauty and mourning into joy. See, I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut. Revelation 3:8. And in that moment, standing in the middle of your miracle, you will look up through tears of joy and whisper, God, this is more than I prayed for. But listen, there's something you need to know. Every delay had a purpose. Every heartbreak had a lesson. Every no was making room for a greater yes. Because what you saw as rejection, God used as redirection. What you thought was a setback was really a setup for something far greater. You thought you were just asking for a way out, but God was preparing a way through. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Exodus 14:14. You thought you were praying for survival, but God was preparing you to thrive. You thought you were waiting for a blessing, but God was making you into a blessing. You thought the storm would break you, but God used it to build you. Every moment of waiting, every season of struggle, every unanswered prayer, it was not wasted. It was building something, shifting something, preparing something beyond what you could see. And right when you feel like giving up, right when you think it's too late, right when you feel like the promise is slipping through your hands, God shows up. He shows up bigger than you expected, faster than you imagined, greater than you prayed for. Because when God fulfills a promise, He doesn't do it halfway. He finishes what He started. Being confident of this, that He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus. Philippians 1:6. And when it comes, when you finally step into the promise you've been waiting for, you won't be able to hold back. You will lift your hands. You will fall to your knees. You will smile through tears. And with every part of your soul you will say, God, this is more than I ever prayed for. Because our God is a God of exceedingly, abundantly, above all you can ask or imagine. He is the God of miracles, the God of transformation, the God who takes what was meant for harm and turns it for good. He is the God who finishes what He starts, and He is working in your story even now. Hold on, your miracle is coming.